Good evening. Aren't we waiting for the big Sunday blockbuster? In 25 minutes from now, we will see the greatest player to have ever played on clay take on his apprentice in the French Open 2022 men's singles final. That's right, Rafael Nadal, one of the greatest. He will be playing against Casper Ruud of Norway, who in fact trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy till 2018 in Mallorca. What a wonderful mouth-watering contest this is going to be. I have with me Ankita Bhambre, former Indian tennis player, who joins me here, just as excited, I'm sure, as all of us are, because it is Rafael Nadal in another final and in a French Open final where he's never lost, Ankita. 14th French Open final. Obviously, Nadal going in as the favorite, but this in itself, let's just take a moment to realize what a wonderful moment this is. That here's a man who wins, if he wins tonight, becomes the oldest man ever to win a French Open final, right? And he's up against his student, his apprentice.
I like the way how we can say just another second Sunday at Roland Garros for Rafael Nadal. 13 times before, and yet another final. I don't think we'll be saying this, for a long, long time to come. I think it's just history, being the oldest player, winning it here 13 times, to have an image statue at the Roland Garros. I think this he's the king here, and he truly deserves that title.
So I wonder how big a moment this is. I mean, of course, it is a huge moment for Casper Ruud, but I wonder how he is going to soak in the moment, how he's going to be, uh, how he will react to this moment. Because he's spoken in the press conference where he's said he's been my idol, and interestingly, he's watched every single final in which Rafael Nadal has played, uh, and has made his game around Rafael Nadal's game. That's how he plays as well. And that's why he's been so wonderful on clay. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But the moment itself, obviously nervous, but I wonder what must be going on in his mind at the moment.
I think it's a history of sorts for him as well. After crossing fourth round, he's had a fairly great tournament so far. Obviously, wasn't expected of him, and he is the underdog here. Absolutely nothing to lose. Must savor each and every moment that he's going to be
Mm.
spending, on the center court today, this Sunday evening. I think it's wonderful what he's done for Norway in tennis. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely the first one to have reached so far. Uh, Clearly loves the surface as the game style suits him as well.
Mm.
I think it's going to be an exciting match. I mean, I want to give him some credit and say that if he goes out there, plays his best tennis, plays his A game, I'm sure he can give Rafa a run for his money today. It shouldn't be a one-sided affair, just like we saw yesterday. And I hope
Yeah.
he's able to pull his nerves together. He's able to
Mm.
savor each moment. He's able to raise the level of game when required, because I am sure it will be much needed, especially when you're playing against Rafa on clay. And it's interesting that they've never played before,
Mm.
not just in a Grand Slam, but any other tour event either. But
Yeah.
I guess since they've trained at the same academy, no one forgets any practice sessions, as they say. And it's going to be a very interesting match to watch.
Yes, in fact, that's what he'd said in the press conference as well when someone asked him that he has practiced with him and he's lost most of those games. But he said, I was being nice to Rafa because I was playing at his academy. And so I wanted to be nice to him. Of course, things will be very different today, though the game's very similar. Um, Nadal being his idol, big serve, we'll see bazooka forehand from both sides of the court, be it Nadal or Ruud. Where do you think the game will be won today?
I was reading some of the stats here, and it was very interesting to see, the way they've been approaching the game at this French Open. I mean, with Nadal, I mean, he's trying to quicken the points, and as the stats do say, the whenever the rallies are short, whether it's less than four or whether it's between 0 to 8 rallies, he's winning most of the points. So he's obviously going to try and keep it quick, keep it short. Even though it's clay, he seizes most of the opportunity to come up to the net. He uses it to his advantage. We saw the numerous drop shots that he's been using very, very well to make sure that the opponents run in and tire themselves out. So I think he's got quite a few weapons up his sleeve, and he's going to be using all of them really well. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they're going to be really, really long rallies or whether it's going to be short and quick, just like they both like to play.
I also feel like somehow the stars are aligning for Rafa Nadal, especially with what happened in the semifinals with Sasha Zverev. And that match could have gone on forever. I mean, it was already long enough, and they'd not even completed 2 sets before, unfortunately, Zverev retired hurt. But you almost feel like somehow everything is, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Everything is falling into place for Rafael Nadal for a 14th French Open title, isn't that so?
I truly believe that is true, and I would agree with you because one wasn't giving. I mean, even though he's Nadal and he's won it 13 times. If you look at the clay court season that's gone past, I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of him, and we haven't seen him work his magic like he generally does. But when he comes here at Roland Garros at the stadium here in Center Court, it's like a different legend who plays the game altogether. We've seen him, show his magic before with numerous other opponents, and I think he's been really, really good at it. And he himself said so that I've really worked hard, and it's been a long process, and I've done everything that I can to make sure that I reach where I am today. So I think the team knows what they've done and the sacrifices that they've made, and it was so heartwarming to read something when a legend says something like that, and it shows what a great champion there are.
This season, though, I was looking at this, Rafael Nadal's season. I mean, you look at just the season, Ruud has had a fantastic season. He's won 21 matches, 5 losses. That's the record this season, as compared to Nadal, who couldn't have had worst build-up really to the French Open. I don't think he's ever had this kind of performance prior to French Open. It's 9 wins and 5 losses this season. We know the reason being he was injured, and there's a permanent injury, Mueller-Weiss syndrome. Today I was reading up about it. And this is only going to get worse. It's a degenerative disease. Unfortunately, he's been dealing with it for some time now. But somehow one gets the feeling, and I know with Rafael Nadal, you can never write him out. He might be playing in, 2016. Because if there's somebody who can do it, it's him. But this seems like he's looking at it like his last season. French Open rather.
I know we've discussed this in the past, and we've said never say never, when it concerns the big three, whether it's Roger, Rafa, or Joko, with them, you can never count them out. You never know which Grand Slam is theirs. When they start up, you really don't expect them to go that far, and then when they're in week 2, you see a totally different player who's really confident, going out there, going for their shots with those very big serves, superb at the net. So we've seen that before with all 3 of them, and it could be probably the end, or may not. One can't say, but I do know that today he's definitely looking forward to dominating the show and taking away this match, creating history yet again. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I hope it's a good match. I hope Ruud is able to put up a great fight. He's able to show his magic as well, and he's able to match up to those really high intensity forehands and serves. Obviously, court coverage is going to be a great aspect that one will have to look into. You must be able to, keep up with the grind again and again, each and every game, if you want to compete with Rafa, especially on clay.
I also feel in this tournament, one of the things that has stood out about Rafa Nadal is that he's been able to dig into his reserves. It's just miraculously at times he's come back from where you thought the game is lost, the set is lost. We saw that against Djokovic. We in fact saw that against Sasha as well. He was trailing in the first set. In fact, even in the tiebreaker, he was trailing but came back to win it. Even in the second set, he was trailing. So it also seems like how badly he wants it. I mean, he just knows he's one match away from winning, from creating history. And so that he's like this man on a mission.
Yes, we with not just him, but when this is your favorite surface, and when you've been at this stage time and again, and it's the mental ability. It's it's not physical anymore. It's your mental ability to be able to stay strong, bring out your A game time and again, making sure that there is that slight moment when your opponent breaks down, whether it's a weak serve for 2 points or whether it's an opportunity on a double fault. There are these very tiny moments that they're able to capitalize and raise the level of their game, which we've seen him do on numerous occasions. So I think when it comes to Nadal on clay, we do expect him to come up with the total unexpected, if I may say so. And I think that's why we call him the king of clay, and that is why he's been able to continuously do it again and again. Whether it's Djokovic or whether it's any other player who has faced him on clay, there are very few times, even though he's down a break and he's, it seems like he may be losing the set, he turns it around really quickly.
Absolutely. Just in terms of the whole greatness debate now, we've talked about this earlier as well, right after the quarterfinals, winning 13 titles on clay, in French Open, that in itself is huge. I mean, to think that Pete Sampras has 14 Grand Slam titles overall, and it took Roger Federer to break that record. And here you have Rafa Nadal going for 14 just in French Open. That debate in terms of numbers at the moment is completely won by Rafa.
And if I may add, I think it's the 22nd Grand Slam as well, which will probably put him on the number one spot again. So to be very honest, I was following Pete Sampras, and I was growing up then. And when I thought about the 14 Grand Slams that he had won, as a tennis player, I always thought, we don't know who that next person is going to be breaking the record. Never, I think, did any of the tennis fans around the world ever think that there will be this guy from Mallorca who will be winning not just 14 slams, but probably 14 on clay. So I think it's probably going to be the greatest achievement of all times. And I think what he's done is absolutely commendable. This surface takes a huge toll on your body, whether it's physically, mentally, to be able to sustain the number of hours that you spend on the tennis court, playing your top game, playing, making sure you've used every weapon there is in the book. So to be able to do that again and again on a surface like clay is extremely hard. They make it look easy, but it definitely isn't. And the practice, the teamwork that must have gone into producing a player like that is unthinkable, unimaginable. So I did mention this yesterday. They clearly have, they have found out what the road to success is all about. They have two players from the same academy. We don't see two players from the same country very often competing in a Grand Slam final, but here we have two players from the same academy competing against each other on a Roland Garros final this Sunday, today in the evening. So I think it's commendable what they've done, and And I think we're going to see a lot more of Ruud as he's old, as and he has a lot many years of tennis ahead of him. So I think it's commendable what these guys are doing.
Okay, with that, I think we've come to the end of this. Let's wrap this up. All of us, as we said, excited about the big final. Who will it be? Will it be the experienced veteran, the supreme athlete, the greatest, one of the greatest to have ever played the game, or his apprentice in Casper Ruud? Will it be Rafael Nadal or Casper Ruud? That's what we're looking forward to. At the end of the day, hope it's a good match. We get to see both of them play well, play hard, and at the end, a deserved winner comes out of it. That's it then, Ankita Bhamrai. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us here on News9 Special. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. Enjoy the Sunday blockbuster. For now, goodbye.